just ran into a spammer, and I think this video is going to help people deal with the hook spamming, non-stop chasing you with the hook spamming, while we wait for a fix, which should be fairly soon if we are paying attention to the Discord and the information that we're getting on the announcements on the Discord. But before I start the video, before I jump into it, in every game, there's always two types of spammers on the very basic level. Obviously, there's more intelligent spammers. Believe it or not, yes, there's like a category where people are really good at spamming. Then there's people that are kind of bad at it. But in terms of like the basic level, there's two versions psychologically of spammers. There's one group that just spam. The moment the bell rings, the moment the game starts, the moment whatever, they just spam. Because to them, they're shameless to the point where the only thing that matters is the win. But there's a second group of people. There's a second group. This group, this bucket, they know how to spam. They've done it many times, but they reserve spamming only for moments where they feel, well, if I play normally, I'm not gonna win because of the things that are happening. Now let me pull the spamming out of my bag. These are people that know how to spam, are willing to spam to win. However, they are conflicted by the stigma that is attached to spamming. They understand how annoying it is for when it happens to them, and they know that the general population is talking negatively about it. The bucket that this person will be in is the second bucket, because obviously the fight did not go in his way in any way, shape, or form, and then he decided to jump full force into spamming. But we're gonna show what I do normally when I go against these spammers, and unfortunately why playing with the analog stick to move your feet to go against spammers is going to be very difficult. It's not gonna work. I highly recommend you figure out a way to do room scale, because that joystick has a maximum speed that will not be able to circumvent the speed of your feet if you're moving very quickly, and you'll see why. Without any further ado, no more philosophical talks about spammers and the psychology of spamming. Let's move into the fight. All right, here we go. So this gentleman here in this rank match, let me just make sure everything's on the up and up here. Yep, we're good to go.
Seconds out. Okay,
all right, so if you notice,
box.
This gentleman's gonna start off trying to play normal, right? Nothing spammy or nothing. He's doing little feints there. His hand placement's kind of weird, but it's all right. He throws it. I catch everything with my right glove, catching with my two gloves up. I'm noticing he's having trouble with his headset. He's always readjusting it. Unfortunately, if you continue to readjust your headset, I am going to use that. Because you should be protecting yourself at all times. It's almost like a teachable moment to at least adjust your straps on your headset to a point where it's comfortable, because the man is, unless that's just him blocking, I'm not sure, but it registered in my head as him. So I'm making him miss, very clearly making him miss there. Jab and a beautiful pivot after the jab. After the jab, slip, and you could hear it, you can't see it, but I slipped heavy. I did a deep slip, and I caught him with a right hand while slipping at the same time. So I'm catching very cleanly, jabbing, catching with my right hand, very clean. I'm keeping my right hand up to catch while I'm doing it. 1, 2, 3, hurt him. I went for another 1, 2, 3, dropped him. Lightning blitz, 1, 2, 3, dropped him. After that,
6,
he said,
7,
yep,
8.
I'm hanging up trying to box. It's time to pull out the spamming. We're gonna get nonstop spamming here.
Box on.
Get ready for what I will have to be doing to stop this guy, right? So I'm throwing the jab. He's fixing his headset to go into spam city. So he's thinking about it. He's thinking about it. Put my glove up, catch it. One, two. Woo! Put my gloves up, catch it with my right. I'm pivoting to his right, to his right on my left. Slipping, catching, moving, pivoting. Right here, he starts throwing punches nonstop. So I'm like, okay. So he's spamming. This is what I do. I put my hands in front, and I'm moving as quickly as I can to get away from him. So I'm backpedaling and circling. So basically like a west going southwest, basically. So I'm just constantly moving backwards while circling. But I also have my hands out. Not my hands right here. I have them out. Why? Because I'm trying to block his ability to throw straights, and the arm and the glove is going to stop his punches in his tracks. So if I keep my hand out, not necessarily here, out, and I'm backpedal as quickly as possible. Granted, it is not super sustainable because it's almost like you're running track, but I'm backing up as quickly as possible, circling to get a little bit of an angle on him. If I keep on going, right, what ends up happening is he's going to throw. He can't really get hooks in because I'm moving at too fast of a speed, but he could get straights in, and he moves at a decent speed to chase me. So I'm cutting off his straights and moving far and moving fast enough to get away from his hooks. So you'll see I'll do this again, but I'm also trying to say I do the 1-2. He fixes his headset, and he goes into Spam City. So I'm like, okay, he's going into Spam City. I'm pedaling. I roll that one and give him a 1-2. Pedaling, throw a jab. Pedaling. Got the two hands up, making it really hard for him to land. Since he's fixing his headset, which appears to not fit him, I'm using the 1-2. 1-2, 1-2, 4. Here I hit him with a 1-2-4-3 combo to subvert his expectations. And unfortunately, he does not get up after that. Unfortunately for him. So we get the win. The cool thing that you can learn from this here is that one spamming is going to be nerfed anyways, right? That looping thing is going to be nerfed with the counter punch when it comes through. But also another thing that you could take out of this is combinations are really good too. When it's almost like you're stacking the damage if you could throw these punches before you could get hit. These kind of attacks, when you're trying to think of a boxer or trying to be a boxer in there, you want to defend and make the person get tired. But sometimes some of these spammers are so good they never get tired, right? Or they do the least minimal amount of energy. They use the least minimal amount of energy for anything else, right? Maybe they're just walking with the joystick and all they're doing is looping the punches. But as a person who's boxing, you're thinking, let them get gassed out. But sometimes they don't get gassed out. So one thing that we're kind of learning from this, or maybe this video could help, is one, if you don't have room scale, you're gonna be at a disadvantage, because even though they do have that analog stick, and they can have auto rotation where it's not even based on where they look, it's just based on where you go. So if they have that pushing forward and they're just like whoop, 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 and it's just following you, you're gonna have to circumvent that with speed. And because the analog stick has a maximum speed, your footwork is gonna have to be on 1,000, right? Your backpedaling and circling is gonna have to be on 1,000. Now, once you got that separation in distance because you're pedaling so fast, I found that in this situation, in this game, it's best to keep your hands out because it will stop punches in its tracks. So any straights that they can get in, which is easier for them to get in, because remember, they got to set up, the hook takes longer, right? The straight is shorter. So if they cut the distance even a little bit, that straight could get to you much faster than the hook. Since you're constantly backpedaling, the hook is going to be much more difficult to get to you. Another thing that you want to do, and I know is counterintuitive to the feeling of boxing, but if they're looping punches upstairs and going downstairs, You have to look down slightly, because if you just put your arms down, which is the natural thing as a boxer, you don't really want to look down. You want to constantly be looking at your opponent. But if you just put your hands down, the cameras or the sensors of your headset might not pick up where exactly your arms are. So you want to look down slightly so that it is at least within the range of the sensor so that you can block the body. I've done this many times and it's been very effective. But when I was used to block without looking, I could feel some of the shots going through. And it's probably because the sensors, just the closer your arms are to your body, like you're right below or behind the sensor, then the headset doesn't pick it up. So you want to at least look down a little bit, keep your eye up, right? Keep your eye up, but look down a little bit just so the sensors could pick it up. But also throwing quick combinations, mixing it in. I think that's also really good, because the 1-2-3 was very consistent in this fight. 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2-3, and I threw them as like really quickly, like boom, 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 right? And that helped. And then to subvert his expectations, because he started blocking down the middle, I threw a 1-4-3 just to get around his guard. So when he put it up like this, I could just go here and here. So the reason I threw the 1-4-3, which it will be slightly slower, obviously 1-2 is faster than a 1-4-3, but I did it just to circumvent his guard. But if you take a look at it, that's basically what you need to do during the times that they're spamming, is the backpedaling with the gloves out. I feel that I've experimented a little bit, and your gloves out is a much stronger strategy than your gloves to the side, because they'll catch you down the middle. And because it's out, you'll stop it in its tracks and not even allow it to squeeze through. So as long as it's out and it has a small like circumference so they can't squeeze through, you're stopping their punch way before it gets to you. And the way you overcome the hooks is through the speed in which you're backpedaling and circling. So that way the hooks can't even reach you, the straights don't get through. That's what you need to do, in my opinion, until they fix it, when you're dealing with these hook spammers. And of course, some of them are more intelligent. They'll mix the body and head, and they'll do that well. You gotta block and look down. Unfortunately, it's not ideal, but that's the best way to do it until they put that fix. With the counter fix, if they put that, it's gonna be a wrap. Just whoop, 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 bang. That's it. Right, that's all you gotta do. And sometimes when I'm pedaling and they're chasing, I'll roll and then go in a different direction. Sometimes they're chasing so aggressively that you'll angle them out really hard, and then you could probably just catch them with something or catch them with a quick combination. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. We got more videos to come. We got a lot more like entertaining stuff, very, very different stuff, which is the unique element of playing VR games. But of course, until the next one, guys, hit the like, hit the subscribe so we can do more videos just like this. You guys are obviously loving the content, which is incredibly motivating for me to continue to do this stuff. I've always played Thrill of the Fight without even making content like part one, because I figured people maybe didn't care to see content on that. But now seeing that you guys have been super supportive, so many subscribers have come through from just the last few days, so many views and likes and comments, and we're all engaging with each other and helping this game, which is deserving of this, to grow and help bridge that gap between video games, boxing, real life boxing, and VR boxing. I think this is really cool. This game deserves it because it's moving in the correct direction. And to me, the only game that has done VR boxing, given it justice, right? This is a really good VR boxing game. Granted, yes, it has its flaws. The developers are working hard to fix those flaws, but it is the best VR multiplayer experience in terms of boxing by more than a mile. By more than a mile. All right, anyways, until the next one, guys, peace out.